we continue our march towards the middle of April, in fact, on this third and final Thursday of racing during the spring meet at the Big A, you'd be hard-pressed, though, to realize that it is April and technically it is spring. Some sun in South Ozone Park, Queens would be nice. Overcast, gray, cold, and damp outside, but a fast main track, 8 races on deck. Good to have you with us. Hope you're doing okay. It's Jason Blewitt, Richard Migliore is alongside. A big show lined up as we get into an even bigger weekend nationally, Meg, and a weekend, in fact, you'll be on the road.
Yeah, this will be my last show with you this week. You'll be joined by Maggie Wolfendale as I'm heading off to Keeneland tonight, and I'll be there Friday, Saturday, and we'll get back Sunday morning for National Racing Report.
Now, as far as the Thursday headlines, we've got one Grade 1 winner coming and another Grade 1 winner going, and the Grade 1 winner that is going is Daredevil, who's being turned out at Windstar Farm, last year's winner of the Champagne. Just didn't run all that well, and I'm assuming didn't come out of the Wood Memorial in tip-top shape for Todd Pletcher.
I think they're doing the right thing. They're going to take a step back, let the horse freshen up, get him ready for a summer campaign, and maybe get him back to what he really wants to do. Run around one turn. I'm sure the King's Bishop being the ultimate goal at this moment, but he's a horse with a brilliant amount of speed, and it looks like he's not going to really stretch out effectively. So I think that's the right thing. You know, do something to set your horses up to succeed.
August 1st, the Amsterdam. Maybe that'll be the re-entry point for Daredevil. Of course, that is the local sort of traditional prep at Saratoga for the King's Bishop, which is late this year. August 29th is Travers Day.
Well, I think we're in Saratoga this year. Labor Day is pretty late, like September 6th, if I'm not mistaken.
Or 7th. It's pretty much as late as it could be. We look ahead to Saratoga, and of course, a little less than 3 weeks out from the opening at beautiful Belmont Park. In Belmont Park, the track in front of 100,000, in which Beholder did not get it done in last year's Ogden Phipps, but make no mistake, she's got multiple Eclipse Awards and Grade 1 wins on her mantle, and she is returning her 5-year-old debut tomorrow afternoon in the Santa Lucia Stakes at Santa Anita. She's 1-5 on the morning line in race 6.
And I think deservedly so, looking at the competition in the Santa Lucia and looking at her work tab. She appears very primed for a good effort off the bench. Richard Mandella knows how to get a horse fit. Hall of Famer Richard Mandella. And I think it's nice, though, that you get a 5-year-old mare coming back again who's been a multiple champion. A lot of times they pack them off to the breeding shed. It's good for racing. It's good for the fans to have her come back another year.
I'd race since that Breeders' Cup, or what was supposed to be a Breeders' Cup distaff prep last fall out at Santa Anita. Got a little sick, missed the big dance, and a potential 3rd consecutive Breeders' Cup victory. Good to have her back, though, with the comeback kid, Hall of Famer Gary Stevens, who he has fit her like a glove since the first time he sat on her.
You know, he played George Wolfe, the Iceman, in Seabiscuit. Well, maybe we should call him the Cat, because he seems like he has 9 lives.
Very cagey. Good to have Gary Stevens. Beholder, race 6. There is your pick 6 and late pick 4 single tomorrow afternoon at Santa Anita. Don't say we never gave you anything right here on Aqueduct Insider. We'll get on to today's program in just a second. We do have some news concerning 5-pound apprentice Angel Cruz. Spill in the nightcap, and Angel Cruz, we hope he's doing okay. Our thoughts and prayers are with him, but he is currently on his way to Jamaica.
Yes, he is, and it just shows you how tough this game is. This kid is riding so well. He's winning multiple races every day, it seems. Actually had an opportunity to talk to him earlier, and then he goes down in a spill in the last race where he clipped heels. The horse stopped pretty abruptly in front of him. It appeared the horse got up and ran off after the field was picked up by the outrider, but Angel Cruz is at the hospital, and hopefully we'll get some word before the end of the show about his condition.
All right, let's move on. Race number 4, Thursday action. Larry Comas has got the call. Just an 8-race program. To me, race number 4, and I think you'd agree, the most intriguing race on today's card as we send it up to Larry C. for this group of 3 and up filly mare maidens.
Outside with a good start. Here comes Kelly 37 up and after the lead. And Perfectly Mine is close too. Then Majestic Empire, followed by Rapid Repair, who's racing down at the rail and just behind the top 4. And then March On and Night Sky at the back of the field. Out of the chute, onto the backstretch. Cali 37, Perfectly Mine. Right to the outside of them is Majestic Empire. Rapid Repair has the rail. And there goes Night Sky up in between horses, up into 5th. Only 2.5 lengths off the lead. Then English Garden and March On. They're a tight pack that went 23 and 2 for the first quarter. And they're in pursuit of Cali 37, who leads it by a neck. Perfectly Mine is second. Majestic Empire, third to the outside. Rapid Repair rides the rail at the half mile. mile pole, 2 lengths off the lead. Alongside of Night Sky, March On, and outside of them it is English Garden at the back of the field, 47-1 for a half mile. Around the far turn, and here comes Majestic Empire alongside of Cali 37. These two kick on, and they open up 2.5 lengths from the field now. Rapid Repairs under a ride on the inside and is now 4 lengths behind as Cali 37 and Majestic Empire turn for home 1-2. These two at the top of the stretch run 3/4 in 1:12.3, and it is Cali 37 in front. Getting away now and drifting out, Cali 37 by 2. Majestic Empire is second, and it's 6 lengths back to Rapid Repair. Cali 37 and Junior Alvarado have it won as they come down to the line at 23-1. Cali 37 over Majestic Empire. Rapid Repair was third. Night Sky was fourth.
Cali 37, inside speed, just forgot to stop, and she just runs away here, pays $48.40, wins like a horse who should have paid $4.80.
Well, a couple interesting things out of it. I do think the inside was pretty strong today, and speed was pretty strong. But you can watch this filly and the way she kind of runs, stops and goes. This is first-time blinkers, and sometimes I don't put a lot of real importance in that, but I think it really meant a lot for her today because it seemed like it got more of her attention, and even with the blinkers on, she still was running in spots. I think this is a horse that has ability, and the blinkers made a huge difference.
We had a couple of wood-winning sires have horses that won races on today's program. A filly by Bob and John in race number 1, and how about Cali 37, who was by the brilliant but short-careered Escandrea, who, I mean, the world was his to conquer. Unfortunately, the wood wound up being his final start.
Yeah, unfortunately, like a lot of brilliant horses, they're hard on themselves. They just don't hold up because they almost run too fast for their own good, I should say. The one thing I also thought watching this Cali 37, 2 races at Gulfstream, this is the time of year you want horses coming from the south to the north. It just seems like they excel.
And to tie ribbon around race 4, I thought a good effort in defeat, well clear in second from Majestic Empire, who had that unenviable position of having to chase outside over an inside that was pretty king throughout the afternoon.
And she was on the hard chase the whole way.
All right, we'll move on to race number 5. We hope you're alive even with Cali 37 winning in pick 4s, pick 5s, 3s, and maybe the 6 as we get it back to Larry Colmus for race number 5. These are older fillies and mares running for claiming tags of $16,000.
Guyana's got speed too. These two are going to sprint away from the others, opening up 3 from Colonel Juanita, who's taken in hand to run third early. My Donna Jean is fourth on the outside, and the Wildcat Girl, trying to recover from that start, is down at the rail just inside of Rock Show, and 7 lengths off of front runner Wise Awake and Luis Saez, who lead the way up the back stretch. And Guyana's second through a 23-1 opening quarter mile. Colonel Juanita settles into stride well in third, 4 lengths off the lead. Then it's the Wildcat Girl inside of My Donna Jean. Rock Show is last. Around the far turn, Wise Awake and Guyana. These two a half length apart. As they round the far turn, they've got 4.5 on Colonel Juanita, who's now being ridden to go. And then it's My Donna Jean to the outside, and also gaining ground is the Wildcat Girl, who's trying to squeeze through right in behind them. After a 47 flat half mile, they're coming to the top of the stretch. And Wise Awake is still holding off Guyana. In fact, getting a bit of daylight here. Wise Awake clear a length and a half. Guyana still coming though in second, and My Donna Jean closing in too. And Colonel Juanita right in behind them, still in with a late shot. But here comes My Donna Jean. My Donna Jean hits the front. Then Guyana, Colonel Juanita, Wise Awake fades late, coming to the wire. My Donna Jean. Tight second there. Guyana or Colonel Juanita. The Wildcat Girl was fourth.
You often see this, Mig, on a day where the inside's been playing pretty good through the first few races. Couple riders sent pretty hard. Luis Saez on the 1, Wise Awake, and Manny Franco on Guyana, and that set the race up, going 7 furlongs to boot for a big pace collapse, and here's the winner, My Donna Jean.
Yeah, it does happen, and we did see a few times this happen during the day. I still believe the inside was where you really wanted to be, and speed, but this filly did get a good setup, and good to see one of the good guys in the winner's circle, Eddie Barker. He's been consistently here for so many years that I enjoy when he wins.
Aqueduct faithful, guys out here day in and day out, loves the horses, loves the handicap, and he's based right here at Aqueduct as well, so a little home court advantage for that 7-year-old mare by E. Dubai. As we send it to a break, we've got more highlights coming up on this Thursday card. Overcast in Queens, but we'll warm you up with the racing action here on MSG+. It's the Mecca, New York City's racetrack. Equestris, which at one time was New York City's biggest restaurant. We're going strong here since the late 50s, the brainchild of racetrack architect Arthur Furlick. How about the Taj Mahal, real crown jewel of the North American thoroughbred racing scene? Beautiful Belmont Park, 20 days out, Mig, from opening day, April 29th.
Can't wait. It's always an exciting time of the year, and we know the really good racing's right around the corner. And I'm always impressed when you come up with these Arthur Furlick type references, master racetrack architects. Good stuff, really good
Naira
stuff.
Media Guide.
All right.
What can I say? There's my source.
You didn't take the time to look through it, so I got to give you credit.
And look, the opening of Belmont Park, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, Belmont stands alone. I'm a Floor Park guy. We know that. It's home turf for me.
Sure.
And but it's just great with that opening weekend because it coincides with Kentucky Derby weekend, the start of the Triple Crown.
Well, yeah, not only is the racing or the public, the national public, not just the racing public involved with racing that week looking at the Kentucky Derby, but then you've got Belmont Park opening, the Taj Mahal of thoroughbred racing. And also, it's an easier commute for me, so I don't have to deal with the Van Wyck anymore.
All right, I like the sound of that. We'll get you on to race number 6. An easy commute as we head a few stories upward. Larry Comas standing at the mic. He'll get us up to speed. Race number 6 as we get to the Thursday action.
They're off. Best Man had a very good start. On the inside, here comes Papa Tom on through to show speed, and right between those two comes First Bid. These three away the best. And in between horses is Son of Dixie, who's close up running in 4th. After that, Mental Iceberg, Salisbury Knight on the outside, and Best Play is last as First Bid takes the lead. First Bid in front, 3/4 of a length. Best Man. Here's Salisbury Knight now moving up alongside of Best Man to be a close-up third after a 24 1/4. 3 lengths more back to Papa Tom running in 4th on the inside. And then it's Mental Iceberg followed by Best Play, who's out of last as Son of Dixie is now well behind the field. And Son of Dixie looks like he's going to be pulled up out of the race here. Son of Dixie is pulling up as the field heads past the half-mile pole. First Bid, Best Man, Salisbury Knight. 47 3 1/2. These three across the track. They've got 4 1/2 lengths on Papa Tom and Mental Iceberg. And then comes Best Play around the far turn. And it is First Bid holding on to the lead. Salisbury Knight's on the far outside. And in between those two is Best Man, who's under heavy pressure from Luis Saez as they come to the top of the stretch. First Bid off the turn in front. First Bid, the leader by 2. Best Man is second. Salisbury Knight is third on the outside. And here comes Best Play. And Best Play is starting to roll. Running in between horses at a big price. Here's Best Play. 27 1, taking the lead. And on the outside, Papa Tom closing late. Salisbury Knight, Best Man, and First Bid, Best Play. And Eric Consell over Papa Tom, Salisbury Knight, and Best Man.
Almost a reprise of race 5. The 3 main contenders battled heads apart. They got a bit tired and a bit leg weary at a mile, and late runs, including a couple of late runs from horses that spent a good portion of race 6 on the rail.
Yeah, absolutely. Came out when he had to. Eric Cancel, an apprentice that's gotten a lot of hype, and maybe he's starting to deliver on that hype. He looks pretty good. He's also going to be involved in something we're going to check out a little bit later. But I was actually down by the jockey's room. Seems like a nice kid. Very small, very compact, built like a race rider.
$56, one of 2 wins on today's program for Eric Cancel. We'll see some dare-doing from him in a short time in our second look. But we got to get you back to race number 7 with Colemas calling. We'll jumpstart the late double. It is a claiming race. These are 3-year-old fillies, and the claiming prices are $40,000 as we go back upstairs.
They're off. Enduring Touch on the outside comes out running. She's Marvy away with speed now, goes up to grab the lead, then Saluda from the inside, followed by Chicoletta. After that, Patria Carita and Majestic Jessica is well behind the field as She's Marvy leads the way early on. Enduring Touch second to the outside, Saluda is in behind them, running in third, past the half-mile pole, then Chicoletta, followed by Patria Carita, Majestic Jessica, about 7 behind after a 22 4 opening quarter mile. Around down the far turn. She's Marvy, Enduring Touch. And these two, they're going at it up front. Saluta's 2.5 lengths off of them. Chicoletta under a hard ride, fourth on the outside. And then it's Majestic Jessica, who's out of last and moving through an opening on the inside. Patria Carita at the back of the field at the top of the stretch. Enduring Touch on the outside to the front after a 46 2/2 mile. She's Marvy. And on the outside, here comes Saluda, Chicoletta, and coming up the rail, Majestic Jessica. Chicoletta, Saluda, Majestic Jessica on the inside. Chicoletta, Saluda, Majestic Jessica. These three coming down to the line, and it will be Chicoletta. Majestic Jessica, then Saluda, and Patria Carita.
The one big aberration on today's card, race number 7, Chicoletta Mig, was nowhere near the rail at any point in this three-quarter dash, and she was still good enough to get up in time and eat Luis Saez.
Well, I'm going to start sounding like a broken record. I really did think the inside was good today, but we've seen several horses come down the outside. Good to see Luis Saez in the winner's circle for Jeremiah Englehart, somebody that's easy to root for.
Absolutely. Jeremiah's got Bridget's Big Lovey running against American Pharaoh, taking on Bob Baffert, and that imposing 1-2, maybe even shorter than 1-2 favorite in the $1 Million Arkansas Derby on Saturday. Would love to see Jeremiah at the very least finish off a Baffert Englehart exact and get to the Kentucky Derby with Bridget's Big Lovey.
Yeah, he looks a little hard-pressed to outrun American Pharaoh. Everybody does on that card, but certainly somebody to root for. Also, that was Angel Cruz's first stakes winner when he won a stake on him at Laurel a few weeks back. So, you know, kind of a lot of New York flair in there.
All right, let's move on to other highlights today. Larry Colmus, once again, the calls of 1, 2, 3, and 8 on an abbreviated 8-race program. Here's Larry C. off the far turn in race 1.
On Mama's Red Hat and Fernando Hara, and at the 8th pole they're well clear of the others. Impossible Dream is third, 1 furlong to run. Alice and Trixie to catch, and on the outside Mama's Red Hat is second, and the others are far behind. It's going to be down to these two. Maricel My Love, or rather Alice and Trixie trying to hold off Mama's Red Hat, and Alice and Trixie does it. Mama's Red Hat was second, Maricel My Love got third, and then came Impossible Dream. Of Me third. Married to Michael comes into the stretch wide, and up the rail it's Over My Head, but as they come to the 8th pole, it's Delightful Aaron. Delightful Aaron's got a 3-length lead on Zippity Zoom. Up the rail, Over My Head is next, and then comes Married to Michael on the outside, and All of Me as they come down to the line. It is Delightful Aaron. Delightful Aaron will win it. The races for second look like Over My Head may have beat Zippity Zoom on the wire. And for Watergate, turning for home in front. Face second. Our Cardinal 1 on the outside, and Jacopo running on 2. Watergate to catch coming to the 8th pole. Here's Jacopo. Our Cardinal 1 on the outside. Face is fourth. Watergate, another furlong to go. On the outside, Jacopo trying to close in. Face is third. Then comes Our Cardinal 1 and BB's Remington. And it will be Watergate. Watergate wins it by 2. Face comes back for second over Jacopo. BB's Remington was fourth. In front. And American Hero is second, a length and a half behind. 3/4, 114 flat. Into the final furlong. Ride of Your Life. Holding on to the lead from American Hero. And then it's Louis Lock, followed by Fictional Character on the outside. Ride of Your Life. Trying to get another 16th. American Hero still cannot get by. The two of them down to the line. Ride of Your Life holds on over American Hero. Louis Luck was third. Fictional Character was fourth.
Few big bombs won on today's program. 18,000 the pick 6 carryover. Whole slew of 4s and 5s, and the console will pays nobody alive going into race number 8, the nightcap. Won by a horse with a very familiar pedigree to you. That was Bill Mott's horse for Parting Glass, Ride of Your Life.
Yeah, Ride of Your Life gets it done, breaks his maiden. Used to ride the mother, Unbridled Hope for the Y Gods and John Kimmel. And nice to see Parting Glass. They're 2 for 2 now on the main track. Maybe they'll break the owner's standing. So congratulations to Tom Callow and the Parting Glass crew.
And you see those Y God bloodlines. You want to talk about some foundation. The first horse I really think of, Shared Belief, but decades after decades, top class bloodlines anyway you slice it.
Yeah, they've done a really good job with their breeding program for a number of years.
A second look on this chilly Thursday at the Big A here on MSG Plus. We've got our binoculars out. We'll go to the head-on camera on the far turn. We'll pick up race number 3 from the gate. The number 1 horse, that is Bert Stone with Eric Cancel. And Mr. Big, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, watch. Keep your eyes on him. He's going to lose, I believe, his left stirrup out of the gate. And then his saddle's actually going to turn. Just keep an eye on it. I think the horse brushes the gate there. He loses the stirrup, you see? So now all his weight is on the right side. And now you're going to see the saddle actually starts to roll off to the left. It slips. And he did a remarkable job just being able to stay in the middle of this horse. Eventually, he had to kick his feet out of the stirrups. But you can see how awkward it is there. That's because the saddle is actually moved all the way to the right side of the horse because of all that weight. Look, right here, he's back basically off one side. He's riding side saddle at this point, Jason. And only when you're that young and you have that kind of athletic prowess and balance can you stay in the middle of one.
I'm impressed Bert Stone even kept his position. I mean, was pretty steady towards the back of the pack, but was keeping in tow with the field, not losing any ground until they really hit the bank of the turn, and he dropped back this race a complete throwout. But
yeah,
some athletic prowess from Bert Stone as well, because that can't be easy when your pilot is totally off center and his weight is just shifted on one side.
No, really, it was remarkable that the horse ran straight, that the rider stayed on, and like you said, you put a line through that. This is a horse that basically had no chance once the saddle slipped the way it did.
Rider standings with another Thursday down. We've got 2 full Thursday programs remaining this spring meet here at the Big A, and Eric Cancel, well, some daring do with Bert Stone in race number 3, but he also walked away with a double bagger on today's program.
And like I said, he came with a lot of hype. Angel Cordero's on his team there. He's basically his coach, so you know he's being well schooled, and a kid that we expect really good things out of.
And Jose Ortiz currently on that 3-day suspension. We will have him back with us here on Saturday, in addition to that $250,000 guaranteed late pick. 4 trader standings with another program down. 8 races today, and lo and behold, David Jacobson has a win, or I should say a 1-win lead over Keir McLaughlin with 4. Did you happen to see Keeneland today with Via Strada, who won again for Keir McLaughlin, aired?
Oh, really? I didn't watch any Keeneland today. And even though I'm on my way there tonight, I wasn't paying attention to it today.
She won race 5. It's a race worth going and checking out, at the very least, the chart, if not the replay. An unbeaten 4-year-old filly by Street Cry, who looks like a real good one for Godolphin Racing. We run down the claims, just one sheet. Jimmy Jerkins had a beaten favorite, Best Man, who chased outside, but Rudy Rodriguez went in for the 25K.
Yeah, and you know, unusual to see people take off of Jimmy. I think he's a guy that people will have a hard time improving off of for sure.
We move on to the 3rd segment, a little Friday preview, 8 races, a pick 6 carryover, and one more look at Eric Cancel, black cap, maroon sleeves, and doing a great job staying aboard Bert Stone in race number 3. Don't touch that dial. We're back with the preview. The Big A, we sit high above the finish line with that robot camera. Look at that panoramic view of Aqueduct Racetrack, Resorts World Casino, and Larry Colmus way up there somewhere. In fact, Larry's probably on the Bell Parkway as we speak. But we're still here in our 2nd floor clubhouse studios at the Big A, and what a great time to be a racing fan. A fun time of the year. Last round of Kentucky Derby preps on Saturday, and $250,000 the minimum in Saturday's League Pick 4. We'll have a 9-race card that begins at 1:20 p.m. and the top flight for Fillies and Mares, race with a lot of history, will go as the featured attraction.
Yeah, tremendous amount of history, always a great event, and I like the older filly and mare division. We're still looking for someone to kind of step up and take control of that division. Maybe it'll be Untappable this week, or who knows, maybe Beholder will come back in good form.
Right, it's neat. You have Untappable in Arkansas, and then Beholder out in Southern California on a Friday afternoon. And don't forget 2 Grade 1s in the country tomorrow with the Apple Blossom and the Makers 46 at Keeneland. To the Friday preview we go. No Grade 1s on the program, but a good-looking sort of Belmont/Saratoga 3-year-old filly quality maiden special weight that features a Phipps homebred coming attraction, the Gray, who was just run down in a very game debut for Shug.
Yeah, showed very high speed, which is a little bit unusual for Shug McGahee firster, but she ran really, really well, and I got to think that she was actually playing around when she hit the front, and when that other filly hooked her, she kind of re-engaged. I think she's going to be very tough. I still favor those horses coming out of Florida, back east.
And she's a great-granddaughter of the mighty Personal Ensign. More of a sprinter pedigree in the meantime, at least on the top side of Yes for Success, who handled the sloppy track pretty well in this defeat by a length for John Kimmel.
Yeah, and I think this is a filly that's actually going to be aided by the outside post because she's had kind of been rushed into her races where I think she's going to be able to show that speed the right way, kind of sneak into the race after a 16th of a mile. I still think she's up against it with the like of Coming Attraction. I just think those horses out of Florida just do so well when they come back and it's a little bit cooler up here.
On to race number 7, it's a 6.5 furlong, 2 other than $62,000 optional claimer. These are fillies and mares. We talked about the Phipps dynasty, and now we've got a homebred for the mighty Juddmonte Farms, that is previous, who won her last race at Gulfstream.
And again, horse coming from Gulfstream, shows up in New York this time of year. It's going to make her double tough. And Manny Franco is the beneficiary of these horses coming back as he rides Coming Attraction in the 6th and previous in the 7th. I think she's going to be a handful.
We move on to Wayville Avenue, who I like quite a bit turning back. She just did not run her race February 5th rating. Prior to that, her races as the outside speed were pretty good, including this victory on New Year's Day.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I like her getting off the inner track, even though she has a win on the inner track. I thought her best race may have been 6.5 furlongs right here at Aqueduct last fall, so I think she's going to be double tough on the turn back as well. I agree with everything you think about her.
Right, that win November 29th outside against that iron gold rail on that Cigar Mile undercard. I really think she's going to give previous a run for her money. Risque Reality, a more than ready, pricey yearling filly who's trained by Peter Pugh, coming out of a pretty good field down at Gulfstream Park, won by a filly who's 4 for 6, and she liked the main track a lot last spring.
Yeah, and she ran really well. And another one, 6.5 furlongs. I know people, well, it's 6.5. It is a little bit of a specialized distance, so you like to see horses that have won at that distance, a 16th of a mile further. And Peter Pugh's horses always seem to come back firing out of winter quarters here at Aqueduct.
And she's got 2 wins as she reunites with Cornelia Velasquez with Cornelio aboard 29-1 and 9-1, and she's no worse than 3rd or 4th choice tomorrow afternoon if you're a believer. Risque Reality be an okay price from post number 2. As we have Maggie standing by, who to look for. We've got 8 races, and Maggie will give us her best play.
Thanks, guys. Here in the very chilly paddock. I don't know when spring will come, but I do have a Paddock Insider for you today. It's race number 3. It's for the New York-bred 3-year-olds going the 1-mile distance. It's an allowance condition, and there's a very strong entry from the Bromans, as they always seem to have in these kind of spots. But I feel like Damage Control is a horse who needs the lead. Not sure if he's going to get it, and I don't know how far Global Positioning wants to go, but a horse who has been knocking at the door and has run with some very talented New York-breds thus far is on the outside in Persuasive Devil. I thought his last race, coming off a bit of a break, was a very good effort. He was just repelled in the final strides of that race, and he looked great. And I think he's a horse that might be able to turn the tables and get the kind of setup that he needs. So it's Persuasive Devil, your Paddock Insider for today. Jay, Meg?
We wrap things up with Maggie, and best of luck to her play tomorrow afternoon. Again, just 8 races Friday. First race post 1:20 p.m. 18,000 plus the pick 6 carryover. A bit of an old school feel like yesteryear with that sequence starting in race number 3. And a little birdie has told me I think the President's Trophy in the National Hockey League may make an appearance tonight at Madison Square Garden.
Well, it's nice, and we're very happy about the President's Trophy, but I don't think we're going to be satisfied until we get the Stanley Cup.
About a week away from the Stanley Cup playoffs, and racing is going full gear with American Pharaoh. Of course, the Jockey Club Tour on Fox Sports 1. Don't forget to catch the Mig and the boys on Saturday. And we have hit the finish line on this show. We'll catch you tomorrow night right here on MSG+.